by the end of this video, I want to have eradicated at least many of the excuses, many of the so-called reasons that keep us from living a meaningful, purposeful, and happy life. Because really, as Seneca says, to learn virtue, to learn how to live a good, happy life, is to unlearn our own faults. And what are our own faults if not the excuses that keep us from seeing the beauty in all the so-called misery, from seeing the purpose in the so-called meaninglessness of the universe. And I'm going to do this with the help of only of a few friends that are right here around me. Normally on this channel, we call in the help of friends, philosophers, thinkers, people in history that are long gone, and we quote them and we talk about them and we talk about their ideas, and that's how we try to show you what to see in this life and what to really look forward to and what to strive for and what the meaning in it is. But today we're going to, like I said, only get help from friends that are right here, right around us, very much living, very much alive. Today I'm at Holy Land Donkey Haven, which is a donkey rescue farm entirely dedicated to donkeys. One of the very few ever in the country to do this, and the only one in Wisconsin where I live. And these are rescue donkeys. These are abused animals, neglected animals. Our first four-legged philosopher friend is hiding inside here. Here she is. And this is Francesca. As you can see, she's very shy. That's why I'm trying to talk quietly, and see she's leaving. She was probably, as far as we can know, quite mistreated, and therefore does not trust humans much. And on top of that, she had a daughter that she was here with. Of course, donkeys have a very complex and very sophisticated emotional life, and she and her daughter were always together, always inseparable. But her daughter died. She had some issue with her lungs. It got infected or something happened, and of course they tried to save her here. They brought her to the vet and everything, but it was just too late, and the daughter died. And when the trailer that Francesca's daughter went away in came back empty, they tell me that Francesca immediately knew, and she was depressed for quite some time. And many weeks and months passed like that, but eventually she returned to her regular self, and she, as you saw, she runs away from me and many other people, but there are some people that she does trust and that she does extend that love to. And that just goes to show you, even after the loss of a beloved child, how animals, with time, they are able to move on and able to enjoy life again. And there are many of them here, as you can see, and some of them even find love here. These two, this is Kringle, because apparently he was born on Christmas Day, and this is his girlfriend right here. These two are always together, always hanging out together. He goes wherever she goes, and they're both tiny little things, and they've found love here. Look how much trauma, how much anxiety, how much abuse, how much neglect these animals have been through. And look at them now. Look at them now. And these are perhaps still the luckier ones. There's so many who go through so many worse things, and well, maybe I'll show you who I'm talking about. We'll just go find them. This is Ferguson, and when he came here, he was so severely neglected. His hooves were not trimmed for a long time, and they had become so ingrown back into his leg that they damaged his entire foot, his entire leg. And there were many vet visits and many things that they tried to do, but eventually what had to happen was it had to be amputated. And he's one of the very few donkeys perhaps in the world, large animals, hoofed animals anyway, whom you would amputate a leg for and then still try to keep him alive, because there's so much weight on those legs, on those hooves, that usually it can't be done. So in one of the very few operations of this kind, the veterinary department of the University of Wisconsin-Madison performed this amputation. And what they also did was give him, it's not this exact one, it's changed since then, but they've given him a prosthetic that he can then put on and live with. And they've donated most of these services because they were so touched by his story, by his resilience, that most of these services were donated, which would have been otherwise over $40,000. It's amazing to think about how when we as humans lose an arm or a leg, just like Ferguson did, of course some of us learn to deal with it and some of us become happy again. There's so many of us who would take a loss like that so severely as to never recover again, really, neither physically nor emotionally. But Ferguson is one of the animals, one of the donkeys that is the happiest here. And he has a full quality of life because of the kindness that these people and really other animals, the way they accepted him, have shown him. And it's amazing after all of that he was able to regain that joy and that desire for life and for happiness. And this might be the point where you want to tell me that I'm forgetting something, that I'm missing a major part here, and that these are just animals, that they don't really know what's going on, and that when they adjust to things, it's just because they don't have really the memory for it or the understanding to really comprehend what has happened to them. And that if they did have that memory and that understanding, that they would still be depressed, that they would really never get over these horrible things, this neglect and abuse that they've been through. And I'm glad that you brought it up. And I'm glad that you're thinking this way, that this argument is coming to your mind. And in fact, I rely and depend on it. To anyone who says that, I would ask, can something that an ignorant animal can achieve not be achieved by a rational human? Does irrationality really achieve more than rationality? Can ignorance really be more capable than wisdom, than intellect, than understanding? Can you not do something rationally what an animal can do irrationally? Can you not do something deliberately that an animal does accidentally? Can you not do something knowingly that an animal can do ignorantly? This is really the question here. How can ignorance be better than wisdom? How can irrationality be better than rationality? Can we not achieve the same triumphs that these animals are achieving unknowingly, knowingly? can we not achieve this happiness, this joy, this meaning in life that these animals achieve irrationally, with full deliberation, and rationally, ourselves? We like to say that ignorance is bliss, but surely the rational, intelligent, deliberate, wise, virtuous mind cannot be a curse either. How can irrationality, ignorance, and everything accidental and ignorant somehow achieve more, somehow be more capable than wisdom, the rational mind, the intellect, the human intelligent mind? How? And notice how loving they are. Notice how much empathy they have, how they can feel the emotions of others, how they react to them, and how they are kind. And there's no deceit here, there's no cheating here, and there's no injustice here, there are no lies. There's only friendship and kindness. And again, even though it's true that most of what these animals do is not deliberate, and it's irrational, and often out of ignorance, out of impulse, that still proves that these, what we call, what the ancient Greek philosophers and every religion of the world really calls the virtues, how they're enacted here, lived, practiced every single day, even though there is loss, even though there is sickness, even though there is disease, even though there are, as you saw, amputations and death and loss. Surely you have to see that love exists. Surely you have to see that justice exists, that kindness exists, honesty, joy, friendship, all these things exist. Whether ignorantly, deliberately, or irrationally, or rationally, or not, we can see them right here today in these animals with these difficult pasts. So tell me this, if here on this very little farm with these donkeys, these virtues, kindness, honesty, justice, friendship, love, can and does exist, where else on this planet, where else in the solar system, where else in this galaxy, or in any other galaxy in the entire universe, can these virtues not exist? Is there any kind of physical space in the entire universe, at least that we know of, in which it is impossible for justice to exist? Not even actively, but at least passively, as an idea, as a possibility, as a potential. Is there anywhere in the universe that we can think of that it absolutely, theoretically, cannot, will not, and is impossible to exist? There's no such place that we know of. And look what this makes us. This makes us the only creatures who can enact, practice, and propagate love, kindness, justice, friendship, all the virtues, rationally, deliberately, and knowingly and willingly in the entire universe. This is humanity's role. This is what is unique. This is what is unique about your human nature. These best things that these animals practice, ignorantly. You as a human being, as far as we know, are the only species, the member of the only species who can do these things, who can practice these greatest, highest goods to be found anywhere in the universe actively. We are the only ones who can keep them alive, who practice them, and who keep them actual rather than a potential, and do so deliberately, rationally, knowingly. Show me another species that can do that. And even if there was another species somewhere deep in the universe, and many, 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 many galaxies over, that also knew about love, kindness, friendship, honesty, justice, then they would only be our equals in the greatest thing. There's nothing greater. There's not only a greater species imaginable in the universe, there's not even a greater God imaginable in the universe, because even the greatest, most perfect conception of a God is a God who is perfectly just, perfectly honest, perfectly kind, perfectly loving. And all these things that these animals achieve accidentally, irrationally, we can and do achieve deliberately, rationally, knowingly, and propagate them to others. What's better than that? What's bigger than that? What's more wonderful than that? And this is your place within the universe. This is what the Stoics talk about when they say to live according to your nature. They mean it according to your human nature. And the nature of the human, as opposed to any other animal or species that we know of, the nature of the human is the rational nature, is reason. We have rationality, we have reason. This is what sets us apart. This is our nature. So when we live according to and with reason, and reason necessitates the practice and strong adherence to virtues, it is then that we are human. It is then that we live according to our nature. It is then that we live a full, meaningful, human, happy life. If you cannot find meaning in that, if you cannot find purpose in that, if this doesn't make you look differently about all life on earth and our place in it, what is special about our species, then I really don't know what will. But I hope you will consider these things. I hope you will consider your unique human abilities and potentials. If these donkeys have become a little dear to you now, if you consider them friends now, if you see how lovely and happy and joyful and kind and smart and beautiful they are, I have a fundraiser attached to this video. It goes to Holy Land Donkey Haven. The president and sole caretaker, other than of course the volunteers, of these donkeys is Angela Lingoski. She founded this place and she takes care of them, and there are always donations needed. She never turns a single donkey away. If there's a donkey that she hears of or is brought who is in need, who is suffering, who has been abused, who needs a new home, she takes them and she never turns them away. And they get everything they need here. The vet comes here all the time. Of course, they get all the food and water and pets and love they could ever get. So I encourage you to make a donation of whatever size you can afford, whatever size you can spare, and what you feel like these donkeys deserve. And they'll be very thankful to you. I can promise you that. And thank you for watching. I hope animals are great teachers. They show us a lot, and they don't even know about it, and they don't even do it for a return, as we talked about. But they know so much that they don't even know they know. And yeah, let's from now on look around ourselves and see all these virtues that these animals are practicing accidentally and out of ignorance. And let's resolve to do the same, purposefully, deliberately, and out of wisdom.